Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon for this week's Inside Pitch talking Cardinals baseball. Gordo, I hate to do it. He spent a lot of time in this position last year, but
yeah,
Fred Bird's got to go down.
Yeah, Bird's down.
He's not napping. He's hurt.
No.
Look, Gordo, it is what it is. The Cardinals are back in last place. They just had their most important hitter take a lengthy injury due to an unfortunate circumstance of Wilson Contreras having a broken arm, hit by a bat. And here they go, headed out on the road to face a tough opponent in Milwaukee. You wrote that this could bury the Cardinals season if this doesn't go well in Milwaukee. Where to start other than what's the status, you think, of Cardinals manager Oli Marmol? And I don't think he's to blame for this team's struggles, but golly, when you talk to Cardinals fans, you do the chat at stltoday.com, I hear from folks, and everybody's wanting to know, are the Cardinals going to fire the manager? And I will say I don't think he's the biggest problem right now. I don't think he's the reason Paul Goldschmidt looks like he's never seen a pitch before suddenly, but that does seem to be the consternation. And what do you make of the managerial hot seat at the moment?
Well, the whole field staff has got to be under duress. I mean, yeah, you've starting pitching, parts of that have been pretty good, but parts also not very good in the course of hitting. The thing, I keep coming back to the same thing, that you got these guys 21, 22, up to about 27 years old that you're counting on for a long time, not just this year, but these are key guys. These are guys you banked on. These are guys you kept out of trades.
Sure.
And you could have gone after some big fish. You kept them out of those trades. You've put all of your hope into these guys and your expectation of these guys, and almost without exception, they're failing. They're below where they could be. Benford, if all of these guys were at least hitting to their norm, this team would only be a couple games out of first place. But instead, a lot of them are sub-replacement level. A couple guys are holding their own. And, Goldschmidt, hey, time makes people older, man. Even Goldschmidt gets older. So he may be done.
Defying time, though. You continue to.
Yeah, I don't think so. But that's understandable. Okay, if he's done, he's done. It happens.
But what happened?
But all these other
you can
guys.
understand if Paul Goldschmidt's not MVP level Paul Goldschmidt, but
Right.
this is Paul Goldschmidt who is less productive right now than Paul DeYoung is with the White Sox. I mean, that's a Paul to Paul comparison, and it looks better for Paul DeYoung right now than Goldschmidt. And you're totally right. We talked about entering this season. The risk of this team was that it had proven guys on the old end of the baseball spectrum, and it had promising guys on the young end. And were they going to meet in the middle? Or was there going to be a gap in the middle? And right now there's a huge gap in the middle because the young guys don't look ready, and the older guys don't look like they're going to be capable of playing up to their career averages. That leaves a team that looks like it's one in transition. And I'll just say this about Oli. Like, when Oli signed that extension at spring training, he was the first to say, look, this is great. I appreciate their supporting me, but I also know this comes down to winning. And so this is he knows what the deal is. The other thing, I don't know how this front office can be allowed by ownership, if it gets worse and worse, to make another manager change without excusing the front office. I mean, to me, they don't get to hire another manager. If this doesn't work, if the way it went down with Mike Schilt, if that doesn't work out, and they can pin the blame on one guy, which to me is not fair, but baseball is not always fair. We know that. Ask Mike Schilt about that. I don't know how John Mozeliak and his front office could possibly go and then pick another manager. How could that be allowed? So to me, they're kind of connected. They're kind of tied together. I think that whether it should or shouldn't, it offers the current staff a lot of protection because every piece of this team was put in place together by the front office that put a lot of confidence in this team and then made a very public display of support by giving the manager an extension at spring training, in part because they feared a slow start. So to then say, well, the guy's got to go after a slow start, to me, that says more about the front office than it does about the manager.
Yeah, and Mo did burn a little bit of equity, or maybe almost all of his remaining equity with that Mike Schilt thing, because that was not how Bill DeWitt Jr. does business. And he got to do that because he built up some equity, but then he spent it. Equity's gone. And the team right now, look, let's be honest, franchise is in its lowest place in the history of the DeWitt ownership. Easily the worst place. Finished last, now you're still last. Yeah. It's a problem. To your point, it could be a huge offseason of change. The question is, do we see the change before then? But certainly by the offseason, it could be a very dramatic time.
Yeah, it feels like a very tense time for this early in the season, but I don't think it's over dramatic because of the season behind it, because of some of the things in play. The Cardinals say they don't sell off, they don't do rebuilds. Well, they sold off last season and they're staring a rebuild in the face if these guys don't start hitting. And it's cruel because the one thing that people I think mostly felt okay about was this offense. And the things that they said would get better, the defense has gotten better, the pitching has gotten better, and it's the offense that has suddenly disappeared. We'll see if they can find it on the road without one of their best hitters. Huge series in Milwaukee. We'll have it covered at stltoday.com. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.